Now let's talk about this report which has garnered quite a bit of attention. Achieving financial abundance takes Singaporeans 32.3 years. Now when I read this, I had mixed feelings. I am very skeptical, and that's why I'm doing this video to share with you what I think is inaccurate about it. Reading from this article by Straits Times, it's mentioned that wealth manager St. James's Place has actually a report accelerating the wealth journey from stability to abundance, whereby they have interviewed 1,000 affluent Singaporeans from 25 to 64 years of age. When I checked on the internet, I couldn't find the exact report, just in case some parts were misquoted. Maybe it's a private report or what, we'll never know. But from some things mentioned, I think there are inaccuracies. The respondents had a minimum income of $70,000 to $250,000, and they have held some investments in stocks, properties, shares, and funds. This is important just to understand, because later we'll be showing exact figures. They've categorized the whole wealth level into 5, and some have done very good infographics already to state what they exactly are. And let's start with the first one. This first level is financial stability, whereby an individual has sufficient money after monthly expenses are paid to save a portion of his income. For example, a fresh graduate who is aiming for first stage of financial stability, to achieve this, it's recommended to have budgeting, savings, as well as to establish an emergency fund. If you're at this stage, it's recommended to equip yourself with basic financial education and understanding the benefits of long-term investing. And being at this stage, it will take you 6.1 years to reach the next, which is financial security, whereby you can choose to invest a portion of your money. Let's take a pause over here. What? 6.1 years just to establish an emergency fund and to be able to save a portion of money and choose to invest. Why is that the case? Are there big student loans to clear? And in that case, if someone is studying in Singapore's universities, NUS, NTU, SMU, the student loan is only 40,000-50,000 in today's current rate. And if you take 6 years just to clear the student loan, you are quite far behind in this whole financial game. Let's be brutally transparent about it. Which means if a graduate is coming at 23 years old, 29 years old, then you have established some emergency fund and you're ready to choose to invest your money. Only 29? I think that's where I really start to feel I disagree with quite a lot of this report. Moving on. An individual next needs 6.5 years to get to a stage of financial flexibility, whereby he or she has sufficient financial investments and assets to cover his living expenses for up to a year. Assets are not passive income to cover. So for example, expenses are $5,000 a month. Super big amount already, correct? It will take still 6.5 years plus 6.1 years to get enough assets to cover 60,000. That means by age of 35, then 60,000 worth of net worth. Because it's the very definition, whereby he has sufficient financial investments and assets to cover living expenses for up to 1 year. Wow, at age 35, if you have only enough assets to cover 1 year, you're in trouble already. I think quite clearly the definition of financial flexibility is incorrect. I've done a poll on my Telegram group before. I guess around 30 plus are when most have actually achieved 100,000 in net savings already. But never mind, let's read on to get to the next stage, which is financial freedom. It will take an individual 8.7 more years on average to reach this stage, whereby there is sufficient financial investments and assets to generate enough passive income for life. And let's define what exactly that means. If expenses again are $5,000 a month, that means 60,000 annual expenses. Enough passive income for 1 year means if your investment pot produces 6% dividend yield, you need $1 million. If your investment pot only produces 3% dividend yield, you need $2 million just to produce 60,000 worth of passive income. And just now we said, someone in the financial flexibility stage only has 60,000 worth of assets, and that 60,000 not too sure whether can invest now, because it sounds like it's also emergency savings, which technically you should be parking into very safe instruments like treasury bills, Singapore savings bonds, and high interest accounts. And to expect an individual to get from 60,000 all the way to 1 million or 2 million in 8.7 years. How to do that? Unless first, big pay jump. Or second, sold away property, big asset amount coming in. And bear in mind, this person now is 6.1 years plus 6.5 years into the journey, which means on average a 35-year-old individual. A 35-year-old individual already has more liabilities than before because there's aspirations for home upgrade. Some have kids, and kids, as we know, inflate their expenses. It's harder to save in this life stage. And to get to absolute financial freedom in 8.7 years, I don't know how that can be done. Yes, it is true you can get to financial freedom, but I guess anybody that's exhibiting that they have a chance to reach there at 40, 43 would have already way more savings at the age of 35 than just $60,000. Never mind. Let's read on a bit further to the next definition of financial abundance, which has taken the media by storm. In financial abundance, you need a further 11 years after you reach financial freedom. And financial abundance is defined as having more than enough income for one's lifetime. Sounds very nice. What does that exactly mean? More than enough income for one's lifetime, or if we interpret it correctly, more than enough yearly passive income to cover yearly expenses? The question again is, how much more? Take note again, when you reach financial freedom, that means your expenses are matched entirely by your passive income sources really. Do you realize if you're still actively working in your career or your business, you will be bringing new incomes that can be automatically funded towards your investment pot. That means by definition, your passive income will start to grow faster than your yearly expenses simply because you're bringing more income that is not spent away and automatically channeled to buy more assets in your retirement portfolio. Even $100 more per month because of the asset base enlarging is just going to snowball and compound. Hopefully you understand that. But I guess usually this definition for intergenerational wealth is meant more for high net worth individuals or the ultra high net worth with more than 30 million assets and more. For most of us common folks, or what I usually preach to private clients, is that you are leaving behind a property already. It's worth quite a bit of money. You may not need to worry too much about intergenerational wealth transfer because this very asset could be millions. Coming to here, if you have agreed with some of my findings, smash a like, smash a subscribe. Especially if someone has sent you content about this whole concept of 32.3 years to get to financial abundance, share with them my message for today and let them know that some of the findings are probably inaccurate. But let's get constructive. How can we envision these various stages, or how can a common folk listening in take real actionable steps? Let's zoom back down to the first layer, which is financial stability. Having sufficient money to save a portion of income after monthly expenses are paid. You probably have to do that from day one already, not 6.1 years into the journey. Do that from day one already. Some of us don't even have student loans, parents have paid for the school fees entirely or gotten a scholarship, so there's really no excuses as to why I cannot even save a portion of the first paycheck that comes in from adulthood. Which means you can straight away jump and focus on financial security to build up a pot whereby you have emergency savings and you have dabbled in some investments already. Let's put numbers to things. If you really do indeed have a student loan, 50,000, don't need to rush to clear that off because most student loans don't even have interest. Clear that off slowly on a monthly basis, maybe for 4 years. And then build up 15,000 of emergency savings, build up 15,000 worth of investments. All in all, this costs you $80,000 and try to get there in 4 years. Which means if you're a female graduate, quite possibly aim at age 26. Achieve this 4 years into your career. I've done a breakdown before of a nurse who have achieved $100,000 net savings at the age of 26. That was done on my second channel, the JOSH TAN Show. I'll leave links above and towards the end of this. If you're a guy that aim by age 28, you really need to have emergency savings, paid off your student loans, and you must have already started your investment journey with at least $15,000. Then by that definition, I believe you're already at financially secure stage because you are saving and investing a portion of your income. Next, let's jump right to the very top and chop that down. Financial abundance is unnecessary for everybody. I repeat again, financial abundance is unnecessary for everybody. What is necessary is only financial independence. Abundance means intergenerational wealth, and that is really not for everybody. The authors of it probably already know that, which leaves us back with the financial flexibility stage and the financial freedom stage. I think financial flexibility, which is defined as having sufficient financial investments and assets to cover living expenses for up to a year, is a wrong definition. I propose to change it to enough money to make big purchases such as a first property, or enough assets to stop working for years. And instead of number of years to get there, let's aim at age 35. Then we move up back to financial freedom stage. This is the stage whereby you have enough financial investments and assets to generate passive income to cover your yearly expenses. You don't need to depend on your active work income anymore. And my biggest proposal to this financial freedom number of years needed is actually there is no fixed number. The pace that you journey to financial independence should be dependent on you. If you have kids like myself, expenses are higher, you may take longer number of years. That is fine. On the other hand, if you like sabbaticals, you like to experience life a bit more when you're younger, don't force yourself to save too aggressively, it's also fine. Then aim to reach financial independence at 50 or 55. It's totally okay. You're still relatively young. On the other hand, if you like FIRE, financial independence, retire early, you want to get there at 35 or 40, yes, you do need to be super frugal and cut back a lot on expenses. There is a trade-off to it, but again, nobody is to say this is the right method, this is the right years to get there. These are my final recommendations, and if you like this, you can actually take a snapshot and or send it to a friend who might benefit from it. Hopefully it resonates with you, and I've actually shared my journey in my ebook, How to $1 Million. Over here, this is a bonus chapter whereby I've shared my own journey and getting towards financial independence. Hopefully it inspires you, and if you like a copy, check out the links below. All proceeds will form part of my donations towards NTU under the JOSH TAN Bursary. Thank you very much for listening right at the very end. These are some of my previous videos. This one in particular is a nurse story saving up $100,000. This one in particular touches on financial independence, how to calculate for it. I'll see you there too. Take care as always. Goodbye.